Hey guys, Happy New Year! I'm Bonefoot and this is my
Top 10 favorite games of 2015! Honorable mentions at the end! Good times! Let's go! Number 10! Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Trees Low and The Blight Below! The game with the longest name in all of existence!
I'm not a long-time Dragon Quest fan, I've only played 2 of the main series games so far, but this still interested me. Perhaps it was partly the awesome collector's edition that came with the treasure chest that I'm using as a prop in this video. It also came with this slime plushie plus some other little trinkets. The game itself was a very pleasant surprise for me, something about it really clicked with me, even though it's basically the same thing as last year's Hyrule Warriors, which didn't keep my interest for that long. The combat is very smooth and satisfying. I especially like the minion system where enemies you defeat have a chance of dropping coins that you can then use to summon those enemies to fight on your side. The fact that you can do this with most of the bigger enemies as well is so much fun. When you get many minions going, it's like you have your own badass monster army, and the way you have to take advantage of this system by leaving minions to defend specific areas is really neat and requires some strategic thinking. There's some epic boss battles and the game is quite challenging at times as well, which I really appreciated. The story is pretty basic, but there are some great characters returning from previous Dragon Quest games that make it fun to play through. Yikes and Jessica from Dragon Quest VIII were my favorites as party members, and then there's of course the game's mascot, Helix. I love Helix. He's your little flying, healing slime buddy who accompanies you through the game, and he's disgustingly cute. The way he talks is just, oh man. I was always cringing and laughing at the same time at him. How he didn't make the cover of the game is something I will never understand. Dragon Quest Heroes is a good action-packed game filled with a lot of content, strategic gameplay, cool characters, and overall just fun times. Go check it out!
Number 9! Xenoblade Chronicles X! The game that ended the 3-year-long streak of no JRPGs on the Wii U with a blast!
This has so much depth to it, it's very overwhelming in the beginning, and to be honest, even after beating the game, I feel like there's so much I don't know about it, or even about some of its core mechanics, and I can really appreciate that about it. There's so much stuff you can just dive into and get immersed in, but you can just as well play through it going only knee deep and still have a blast. The world they created for this game is just so cool. The designs of the massive and gorgeous areas and the monster designs on both the huge colossi and the smaller enemies. It feels like a living, breathing world. The music is great, it's very grand and orchestral and also rocking at times, and I'm always a fan of JRPG soundtracks that use vocals. Some of the songs really reminded me of Persona. The story starts out super strong, I love the tragic premise. It made for some great character backstories and led to a lot of pretty deep moral and philosophical dilemmas throughout the game. The skells, aka mechs, are a lot of fun to fly around and explore the world in, and also to battle in. The combat is very active and also fun, but it did get really repetitive as the game went on, and some grinding is also required to beat the game unless you do a ton of side quests on your own. Because of those reasons and a few other little things, I didn't quite love the game as much as I hoped I would when it was pretty much my most anticipated game of the year, but it is still a great game and definitely deserves its place on the number 9 spot.
Number 8! Until Dawn! The game tailor-made to all of us horror movie fans!
What the fuck?
There were a couple of these story-driven, your decisions matter, Telltale type games from other big publishers in 2015, which I think is really cool. This one definitely caught my eye the most because, as you can see, I'm a huge fan of 80s horror movies. And that's basically what this is, an interactive slasher flick, where you get to choose what the doomed teenagers try to do to survive, hide under the bed or keep running. I love the way the game is executed. It's not one of those games where your decisions shape the story itself. Instead, through your decisions, you're just trying to keep as many of your group of friends alive as possible through one single night of horror full of twists and turns. Make enough bad decisions or mess up at a crucial moment and the character you're playing as at that moment dies a lovely, gruesome and gory death. The visuals in the game are just amazing. It has the perfect nighttime cabin in the snowy mountains, horror movie setting and atmosphere, and in terms of graphical fidelity, it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. The game also takes the best use of the PlayStation Eye camera out of any game I've ever played. There are a bunch of preset moments in the game where the Eye automatically starts recording you without your knowledge to capture your reaction to an upcoming jump scare, and the clip gets saved and you can watch it back later. It's a genius feature that every horror game on the PS4 should have. Unfortunately, my reactions are pretty low key, so they weren't too funny, but I've seen other people's clips and it's hilarious. Until Dawn is a creepy game that incorporates conventions and cliches from almost every subgenre of horror into one great interactive story. The acting is great and most of all it's just hella entertaining. It was clearly made by horror movie fans for horror movie fans, and I think they did a fantastic job.
Number 7. Persona 4 Dancing All Night, a spin-off game to one of the best JRPGs of all time.
When a group of idols goes missing, we get the investigation team back together to find and save them in a strange world called the Midnight Stage. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Nanako and Konami team up in pursuit of the truth behind this new case. We will save all the victims and solve the mystery of the Midnight Stage. Now let's go! It's showtime!
This was another nice surprise. I didn't doubt that it would be a good rhythm game, but it's actually much more than that. They really put some effort into giving the game a worthwhile and lengthy story mode as well. It had nearly an hour's worth of cutscenes and dialogue before you even got to the first tutorial type gameplay stage, and I wasn't expecting this at all, but it was awesome. I love Persona 4, it has some of the best characters out of any JRPG, and any extra time I can spend with them is highly welcomed. The story is interesting, it picks up just a month after the original game's ending, which is cool. All the original characters retain their charm and their voice actors are just as good as ever. The dialogue is also the same great quality as before, it's well written and laugh out loud funny at times. I almost can't think of a better JRPG series to have a rhythm game spin-off than Persona. The soundtracks for the series are always so varied. They span many different genres, styles and tempos, and they're always amazing. The remixes they made for this game and all the original songs are fantastic and fun to play. The gameplay is very addictive, simple and extremely challenging at harder difficulties. Even after finishing the story mode, the game kept my interest for quite a while afterwards with the free dance mode, where I got addicted to getting better and better scores with the hardest difficulty. I have to say I haven't played that many rhythm games before, but this is easily the best one I have so far. I've been going back to it every now and then for an hour of fun, and I can see myself doing that for years to come. Just put on some proper noise cancelling headphones and jam the night away, and it's so much fun.
Number 6. Game of Thrones. Telltale Games strikes again, and this time with their best licensed property yet.
I'm sure she
Let the
would.
girl answer the question. Go on.
I would be true to the king, Your Grace.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
I was super stoked for this when it was announced a couple years back at the VGX Awards show. Telltale Games just doesn't show signs of stopping. They're pumping out multiple games a year and I've loved every single one of them since the first season of The Walking Dead, and this is no exception. They had what I imagine had to be an incredibly hard job trying to live up to the Game of Thrones brand name, and I think they pulled it off. The game feels like an extension of the world of the books and the TV show, which is exactly what I wanted from it. The way the story plays out in tandem with the happenings of the TV show and the way they sometimes cross paths is brilliantly done. I especially loved the way the very first episode began. It's a direct extension of one of the most infamous moments of the TV show shown from a completely new point of view, and it sets up the game perfectly. It's so cool to see the events of the show played out from the perspectives of outsiders, and to see how they affected the common folk and other random people throughout Westeros who we never got introduced to in the show. The game's own internal storyline of the struggle between the Foresters and the White Hills is also pretty well handled. It's a very tough situation the game throws you in, and as always in Telltale games, there are some hard decisions to be made, and with this being a Game of Thrones game as well, it also has those twists and turns and brutalities that come along with the nature of Westeros. Some of the point of view characters had more intriguing story arcs than others. My favorite character was definitely Garrett, and I enjoyed his story the best as well. Mira was perhaps the only POV character I didn't care for too much, but that has honestly happened to me with the TV show as well. For example, in the first few seasons I almost couldn't care less about Daenerys' storyline. There's going to be a second season for the game and I couldn't be happier. How great is it that one of your favorite franchises can not only have amazing books, arguably the best TV show of all time, and now even a great game to flesh out the world even more. And all these three mediums are still going on at the same time. I'm living in a dream world here.
Number 5. Splatoon! Nintendo's exciting big new IP. Stay fresh!
Splatoon really is something that Nintendo had lacked until now, a proper competitive team-based online-focused game and a shooter no less. I'm very happy that they took the chance to create new and unique characters for the game instead of using Mario. It really pushes through the idea that it's something entirely new from Nintendo, and I really enjoy the colorful style and characters of the game. Shooting ink to cover ground and then being able to fastly swim in it is a brilliant gameplay mechanic and something I've never seen done before. Everything about this game just screams freshness, which is what many people had been yearning from Nintendo for a while. Even the music is very funky and original, I love it. The large amount of different weapons and playstyles allow everyone to find something they're really good at. The game is easy to approach as a beginner, but every aspect of the gameplay has its intricacies for you to master, and the amount of skill people show at higher levels is pretty crazy. The gameplay feels very polished. Even the single player is fun. It's a good way to get used to everything before jumping into the real meat of the game, which is the online multiplayer. The boss battles especially are really well made. Gaining levels online and getting better and better equipment over time is very satisfying. I'm glad they raised the level cap to 50, getting there takes some serious time and dedication. The way they've been supporting the game throughout the year with tons of free updates, bringing in new game modes, maps and weapons has been great. The game felt a little lacking in terms of the amount of content it had at launch, but it's grown a lot since then. Splatoon is a highly welcomed new IP to Nintendo's large first-party roster, and I hope they keep it alive for decades to come. It's the sort of addictive fun they're known for with lots of fresh new ideas. One of the best games on the Wii U, a definite must-have.
Number 4. Codename Steve, beating up aliens with Abraham Lincoln. What more could you want?
What a ship. She's called the Lady Liberty. Mr. President, the Queen needs you.
I went into this game with no expectations. It was not getting very good press when it launched, but that has never stopped me before. I thought it looked cool and it was made by Intelligent Systems, so I decided to give it a shot. Codename Steve is intelligent systems doing what they do best, Fire Emblem, in a new visual style and camera angle with a few small gameplay adjustments. The over-the-top story and comic book style visuals and cutscenes are a pleasure to watch and make the campaign a lot of fun to play through all the way to the end. The big roster of characters you get while advancing the story brings a lot of variety to the gameplay. Every character has a unique main weapon that works very differently from all the others. Some allow the character to jump to higher ground and skip through areas of the map, others allow you to blow up obstacles, and some just take much less steam charge, which allows you to advance quicker. For every mission you can only take 4 characters with you, and choosing the right ones based on the map layout and the enemies you'll be facing is very important and adds a lot to the strategic gameplay. The gameplay is easily the biggest highlight of the game. It's super addictive and challenging. The change from top down to third person feels very natural and brings a lot of new strategic elements to the table. This game was my summer game of choice this year and I just couldn't get enough of it. I had just finished my first Fire Emblem game a few months back, Awakening, which I loved, and this felt like a continuation of those fun times. Codename Steve is good shit. Unfortunately it sold horribly, so we'll probably never see a sequel. Go snatch it up if you like strategy games. I have a feeling it's gonna start getting more recognition as time goes on, and after some years it'll become known as a hidden gem on the 3DS. It would definitely deserve that.
Number 3. Super Mario Maker! Make the Mario swing your arms from side to side, blah 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 blah.
How could anyone who saw the 2015 Nintendo World Championships not have gotten super excited for this game? It was easily the best piece of promotion for the game. It had everyone's minds collectively blown with the potential for greatness displayed by the levels created for that competition. When playing this for the first time myself, I just couldn't get over how cool it was to be playing the retro Marios in 16:9 Full HD. Getting to play those childhood favorite games again in this new light felt so great. All 3 of them were a huge deal to me growing up, and they're some of my favorite games of all time. And now being able to make my own levels for them is something I think everyone who played them back then had dreamed of at some point. The Course Maker tool is so intuitive and fun. It's easily the best level editor I've ever used. Not the largest or the most complex like in games like Garry's Mod, but the most well made and, like I said, intuitive and the most fun to use. It's just so seamless to come up with an idea, put some elements down, quickly hop in and try it out, and then go back to tweak it. I got this game for my 6-year-old nephew for Christmas, and he loves making courses for others to play more than he does playing levels himself. Of course, another highlight of the game is playing other people's levels online. The amount of creativity the people who are making some of these levels are showing is just astounding. I don't think even Nintendo could have predicted some of the things people are able to do with this. Some levels are just off the wall crazy with lots of new and unique ideas never seen in the original games, but then there are many makers who try to keep theirs feeling like they could have been taken straight out of a Mario game, and they're really making some fantastically designed levels. Super Mario Maker is another must-have game for the Wii U, possibly the must-have game so far. It takes great advantage of the gamepad, and the endless amount of quality content will have people playing it for years to come. It's a timeless classic in the making.
Number 2. Bloodborne. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
On my last year's list, Dark Souls 2 was in the number 4 spot. This year at number 2 we have From Software's new game Bloodborne, which is basically a spin-off to my beloved Souls series. They really have this gameplay formula down pat, and now they're just running wild with it and putting out games way faster than before. Dark Souls 3 is just around the corner, and I haven't personally felt any larger decline in quality yet, so I'm really enjoying them all. All the same praise I gave Dark Souls 2 last year can also be given to Bloodborne and then some. One major improvement from DS2 is the level design. While maybe not reaching the brilliancy of the world design of the first Dark Souls game, it's close. The combat is also a bit more fast-paced than in previous games, which is a change I can get behind. The dodging has a longer range and feels good. Another pretty big change I liked is the lack of shields. Apparently there are 2 shields in the game, but I never found them myself, and they're a far cry from the abundant 100% damage block shields of the previous games that you could just cower behind of. So now you're really forced to try to master the art of dodging and the beautiful world of iframes, which is as satisfying as ever, especially when facing the awesome bosses. The new Gothic visual theme is gorgeously realized in all aspects, and the great atmosphere the Souls series is known for is at its greatest in Bloodborne. One really memorable moment in the game for me was the Forbidden Woods. I've always had pretty good sense of direction and navigational skills, but the Forbidden Woods area had me thoroughly confused and lost. At first I thought I was in control, but after a while I started noticing landmarks I'd already seen, and I realized I had been going in circles for like an hour, and I was totally lost. A lot of people hate this area for that, but when it happened to me I was just like, well done game, well done. I was impressed at how disorienting they were able to make it. I loved it. Bloodborne is the best exclusive the PS4 has to offer so far. It's from Software in their prime. It's satisfying, it's frustrating, it's atmospheric as hell, but most of all it's just a lot of fun.
Number 1! Fallout 4! War! War never changes!
I'll stay right here.
Thanks for the help.
Yes indeed, Fallout 4 is my favorite game of 2015. I was playing it non-stop for a solid 3 weeks after it came out, and it was beyond fun. This game is a dream come true to any RPG fan like me who loves losing themselves in a fully realized fictional world. Everything about it feels so grounded and real, and it's jam-packed with countless unique characters who all have their own compelling backstories in this cruel environment full of misery and destruction. I was 100% immersed in it and cherished every little piece of lore I could get from talking to everyone and reading their terminals. I love that you can choose to just ignore the main story and explore every inch of the huge open world from the very beginning. I seriously did that for nearly 50 hours before even properly getting started in the story. The exploration is by far what I love the most about Bethesda's Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. There are treasures to be found in every corner of the world, whether it's finding a living 200-year-old child in a refrigerator and then escorting him to his pre-apocalypse home, or just a bandit camp you get to raid for XP and loot. Even though the main storyline is fun and entertaining, it pales in comparison to the numerous awesome side quests and just the general thrill of exploring the detailed world. The Fallout original badge combat system is more satisfying than ever. The slow motion gore fests never grow old. The skill tree and perk system allow for so many different viable and fun builds, which highly increases the replay value. I played through the game twice right away. First as an extremely lucky low intelligence rifleman taking enemies down safely from medium distance, and then as a brute force melee weapons only character bashing everyone's heads in with a sledgehammer. The most fun I had with the game gameplay wise was when I did a self-enforced permadeath run, which was with the melee only character. Having a legendary rat scorpion who could have killed me in an instant if it caught me relentlessly chasing me for 10 minutes straight was one of the most intense and exhilarating gaming experiences I've had in years. Fallout 4 is awesome, it's my game of the year, and here is the complete top 10 list for 2015. It was another good year for games, every year is a good year for games. Now for the honorable mentions, I only have a few of them. First up is Corpse Party Blood Drive. This is a really interesting game. It's a very story-focused survival horror game with anime characters. It's pretty disturbing, I quite liked it. Next up is Guitar Hero Live. This was actually my first Guitar Hero game. It's fun. The guitar peripheral is cool, the game plays well, and the way they executed the live stages is really neat. Then we have Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush. This has such an awesome clay art style, the gameplay with the Wii U gamepad is really unique and fun, and the music is top notch. And lastly we have Tales from the Borderlands, the other game from Telltale Games in 2015. I really like the Borderlands games, the characters are a lot of fun in this and the story is told in a really neat way. This is definitely the funniest Telltale game so far. There were some games that I think could have made the list had I played them, but I either didn't have time to play them when they came out, didn't play them enough to be able to judge them, or just didn't feel like playing them yet. And those are Life is Strange, Metal Gear Solid 5, Project Zero Maiden of the Blackwater, Rocket League, Rodea the Sky Soldier, and Witcher 3. That's that for 2015. I'm really excited for all the games 2016 is supposedly bringing us. So far it looks to be filled to the brim with RPGs, which is awesome. We have games coming out like Legend of Legacy, Bravely Second, Fire Emblem Fates, Stella Glow, Yokai Watch, the 3DS remakes of Dragon Quest VII and Dragon Quest VIII, Persona 5, South Park The Fractured But Whole, and quite a few others. So if all goes well with those releases, then look forward to a very JRPG heavy top 10 list this year. 2015 wasn't very good in that front, at least for me, but just looking at that list of games coming out this year makes up for it. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite games were in 2015 and what games you're looking forward to this year. Please leave those in the comments. That's all for this video, so stay tuned for more videos and thanks for watching. Take care. Very JRPG heavy top 10 list of games coming out this year makes up for it. Definitely Fuck! Look forward to a very JRPG heavy list.